Well, hey there, church. How are you today? Well, I hope this finds you well on this beautiful day. It's a summertime day here in Southwest Ohio. Well, to this week in the pastor's letter, I'm going to talk about the only cure for politics. And we live in a very politically fractured and contentious day. And you hear all kinds of crazy things being said today. And man alive, the other day, I heard about a group who was protesting in Virginia somewhere. I think it was in the state of Virginia in the United States. And they were saying that if you didn't support and acknowledge and believe and use and teach critical race theory, then you just needed to die. And my eyebrows raised, and I thought, well, now there's a strong opinion. You need to die. But, you know, honestly, there's nothing new in that statement, because politics, sometimes we get so fraught and we get so upset about our politics that we just think the other side needs to die because they're wrong, and they're so wrong that their opinion cannot be allowed to exist any longer. Well, we find that kind of thing happening in Saul's day. The first king of Israel, he had a similar problem with the people that agreed with him. So they were on his side, and it's found in chapter 11 of 1 Samuel. These men, they came to Samuel. Actually, they spoke to Samuel after the victory at Jabesh Gilead, and they said to Samuel, "Where are those men who said that Saul shouldn't reign over us? Bring them here right now, and they're going to die." So exactly the same kind of thing. They were just so amped up that they were right, that they needed a king, that they had to have a king, and that this king was going to save them, and he's going to fight their battles for them, and all the rest. They were so excited about that they lost track of what was really, truly right. And they said, we're gonna kill these guys because they disagreed. Now, the men who said that, you'll find their story back in verse 27 in chapter 10 of 1 Samuel. And they didn't like Saul, and they said, who's this guy that he's going to be our king? And they didn't say anything to him. They didn't give him a gift. It says they said nothing at all to him, but Saul didn't say anything to them. He didn't care. You know, he didn't bother him at all that they said that. And now, after this victory in Jabesh, all of Saul's supporters come around and they say, "Oh, now this is horrible. These guys would say that. Let's kill them. What a great idea. Let's kill them." Yeah. So we need a cure for that. You see, our corruption, this is what leads us to say things like this. If they don't agree with us, let's kill them. Let's just get rid of the whole idea. There's no patience, there's no grace, there's no mercy. You don't see any of that here in this language. You don't see any of that in the language of the people who are, walking the streets for CRT either. They don't have any room for anybody who disagrees with them. So, what's the remedy? What is the cure for this ailment that our corruption leads to? Well, you'll notice what Saul said. And you have to admire Saul here, because what he says to these guys who are calling for the death of those who don't support Saul is really good. That Saul said, "No one will be executed this day, for today the Lord has provided salvation in Israel." What a great idea, to actually acknowledge who it is who actually won the battle, who actually delivered Jabesh Gilead. It wasn't Saul. It was the Lord. The Lord did that work. And Saul points that out. He said, the Lord has done a work of saving life, and now you want to take life. It's not about me, gentlemen. It's about the Lord. And he saves. He shows mercy. He showed mercy to the men of Jabesh Gilead. Why shouldn't we now show mercy to these men that disagree with us? You see, there's the remedy. When we take our eyes off of ourselves and we focus on the Lord, then suddenly all that political stuff just sort of melts away. It dissolves into nothing. It drops into ash because it wasn't really made of anything substantial to begin with, except our own emotion and corruption. That's it. So Saul says, let's focus on the Lord. He's brought salvation today. We're not going to spoil this day by killing some people, because the Lord saved people. And it wasn't me, by the way, that did the job. It was the Lord who did the job. He delivered Israel. You see, they were saying Saul has delivered Israel. But no, Saul didn't do a thing. All Saul did was blow the trumpet, gather the people. The Lord is the one who gave the victory. And then enter Samuel. Samuel says, let's go and worship. So once you acknowledge it's the Lord who's king, he reigns, he's supreme, everything is in his hands, he's the one that's showing mercy, he's the one that's delivering, he's the one that's saving, then isn't it just a natural step then to go for worship? Sure it is. Well, and that's exactly what Samuel leads them to, isn't it? He takes them to Gilgal, where they confirm the kingdom to Saul. And this, if you read down into chapter 12, at the end of 11 and into chapter 12, you have this scene there at Gilgal. And they go there and they offer offerings and peace offerings to the Lord. And it says, and this is beautiful, it says that Saul worshiped the Lord there. And they offered sacrifices to the Lord there, peace offerings to the Lord there. And all of Israel, it says that they were gathered there in the Lord's presence, and the men of Israel rejoiced greatly. See, all of a sudden, when we put it in the proper perspective, all of our politics will just blow away, because it's the Lord who's in charge. He's in control. And when we worship him, you know what? Everything else just falls into place. If we worship him, then we're going to find out that it's really all about our corruption. You know, this thing about killing people, that's not God's hand. That's not his way. We kill people over what? Because they don't like a political candidate, because they don't like a particular idea. You know, that's not God's way. Let's not do that. You know, the Lord's way is to recognize that he's in charge. He's king of all things. And then they go to the place of worship and they offer peace offerings. So they further acknowledge that God is in charge and that he's the one who's responsible for all things. And they worship the Lord, their king worships the Lord, and they rejoice because now everything is set right. You never hear this again. There's never this tone of let's kill the ones that disagree with us again, at least in Saul's reign, because everybody knows that the Lord's in charge. But, you know, we're not gonna be the ones that are gonna spoil that now. So the only remedy then for our politics, especially in a day like today, when it's all so contentious, is to take our eyes off of ourselves and to put our eyes on the Lord, and then suddenly all that contention will just melt away. Well, I love you guys. I hope this blesses you. Focus on the Lord today. Worship him, serve him, and rejoice greatly in his presence. I'll see you guys soon. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.